I've been talking with deaf parents because I'm a supervisor in a dorm at a deaf institute. And I noticed that all the girls are in their beds on their phones texting at night. And the reason is because the girls feel like if they're not talking to all their friends at night, then they're gonna lose their friends. And having friends is a really important part of girls' development. It's not funny that girls are so concerned about losing their friends. And some of them are involved in cyberbullying, and the parents don't know about it. And I did research on cyberbullying, and it turns out that normally girls are twice as likely as boys to be involved with cyberbullying through IM, uh, email, and websites. Boys are more likely to bully each other with games. They could end up teasing each other their about their skills in the game, and boys are more likely to steal each other's passwords. And parents cannot have a blind eye to cyberbullying. We need to supervise the children and take care of them. Most adults grew up not knowing about the internet and didn't have the internet. And this is a new problem. We really need to be connected on this. We can't just leave it alone and just hope that everything's okay. Just like how schools teach about sexual education and driving to the children, and the parents also support that, it has to be the same with the internet. Just teaching the children at school how to use the computer and type and use the internet is not enough. We have to teach them about the rules of the internet and respect. And there's a lot of things that parents can do. They could give them counseling and advice. It's also not good to keep the computer in the child's room. It's better to have it in a general space, like the living room or an office. And if you go into your child and see that they keep closing down websites when you enter the room, you should be suspicious to see why. It could be they just want to keep their conversations private, but it also could be bullying. It's also important to limit the amount of screen time children have to about 1 hour. If they're doing homework, that's a different story, but if they're playing games and talking to friends, it should be about an hour. And if the parent is really concerned about the child's use of the internet, they could also install software. But they shouldn't keep that software a secret that they're trying to catch their child in the act. Because it could be something that the child is trying to meet somebody outside. So it's important to have a conversation and sit down with the child and make sure that they know that you are watching their activity online with the software. So, because sometimes that could be enough to prevent the child from using it inappropriately. If you get a threat online, it's important to inform the police or end the internet service provider like AOL, because then they could look into the threat and see if it's a crime or not. If it's not really a direct threat, or someone's just being mean or bullying or acting sarcastic, it's best to ignore that person. It's easy to tell somebody that, but it's hard to do. But if you ignore the person, then normally they would give up. Because the bully is really looking for you to get angry, and they're looking for a response. But if you start to have a argument with that person and interact with them in a negative manner, it could get worse. There's always the option to block a person too, and you could block them on your vlog or blog, and then you could get rid of those comments that you don't like. It's up to you to use your judgment. One of the worst things you could do is say that you're going to quit your blog because of what somebody said in the comments, because it gives that bully the power. So you'd want to avoid that. Deaf Read is a wonderful place for children to go on the internet. There's a lot of stuff there to help children understand how to use the internet. You could find your favorite website or something funny, and then show your children, and then if you see something not appropriate in the comments, then you could talk about it with them. It's best for you to supervise them and make sure they understand what's an appropriate response and what's not appropriate. If your children want to start their own blog or vlog, that's great. There's wonderful opportunities out there. Just make sure that you're supervising them. You could set up the comments so they go straight to your mailbox and not your child's mailbox, and then you could screen the comments as they come in. You could monitor the comments, and then remove the ones that you don't think that are appropriate. And then if you see something that's not appropriate, you could talk to your child and explain to them why it's not appropriate, which will help their development. Sometimes in the comments, people will disagree with the vlog, but you need to understand that that's not really bullying, because bullying is not the same as a disagreement. As I said before, a lot of adults didn't grow up with the internet. But this is important to teach them so that they can help the next generation and everything can improve.